Pax East 2019. We're here talking with David Flook from Silver Dollar Games, talking about One Finger Death Punch 2. Tell us about One Finger Death Punch 2.
All right, this game was the imagining of Asian cinematic kung fu. And what I wanted to do was create a game that lets you feel like a kung fu master without having to input all the individual combos separately.
Agreed.
Yeah, so this game is just two simple buttons, left and right. And as simple as it sounds, the game can get extremely difficult.
I can attest to this. A lot happens.
Yeah.
So what were some of your influences for the game in the original one?
The original one was strictly kung fu movies. Like, a lot of people think that the game was influenced by Flash videos and that, but actually it was old school kung fu films that inspired me the most.
What are some of your favorites?
Oh, Enter the Dragon, of course. Anything Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Old Jackie Chan, and many, many others.
Okay. So, what year did the original One Finger Death Punch come out?
2013.
2013. So, you're into Kung Fu, you put that game out. What were you, after that came out, what were you thinking about in a sequel that you wanted to get in that you actually did?
In the original game, we had limited technology, so all the animations were cell shaded, so to speak, cell animated.
Okay.
And in this game, the characters are rigged like puppets.
Oh.
So what I wanted to do was have a lot more animation and have a lot more moves, a lot more events in the game. So the first game, we just didn't have the technology to do everything we wanted to do. So, and now we do.
That's good. It shows. It's one of those things where people might look at it if they're not into the first one, and they would think, "Oh, it'll be the exact same thing," but there's a whole other level of complexity to this thing.
Yeah, there's a huge visual aspect to this game. This game is 99% visual, because you can play this game with just boxes moving left and right, but it's the visuals that make the game what it is.
And the slowing down and just making you feel so cool when you grab a shuriken or grab an arrow or throw it back at someone. What was the most difficult part about making the sequel?
The most difficult part was living up to the first game, making it as fun as the first game, and getting everything to work together in the game, because there's a lot of elements that come in and out all the time in the game, and to get that all those moving parts running smoothly, super hard.
And I noticed there was an interesting message in the beginning of the actual demo where it says meant to be played in bursts.
Exactly, yeah. We wanted people to understand that this isn't the type of game that's a really big game that you sit down like an RPG and play for hours. It's the type of game you play in between games, maybe 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's a quick in and quick out kind of game.
Definitely. What are some of the other titles that Silver Dollar has put out? I know you all put a lot of releases on Xbox Live Indie Games, but just throw out some titles there just to refresh my memory and others.
In past recent years, all we have is Death Punch 1 and Death Punch 2. Before that, all our titles for Xbox Indie Games. And we had maybe 60 titles.
I remember you had a lot of them.
They were very small games, nothing like that. They're very small games, like small phone games, yeah, I would say.
Okay. So what made you decide to get into, is something you did prior, or what made you decide to get into developing in the first place, especially on the Xbox XBLIG, I guess I'll call it that?
Well, I've been programming since I was 14 or 15 years old. I'm 46 now, so that's a lot of years.
A couple.
And in the early years, game development was actually really hard to get into in the days of cartridges and things like that.
Yeah.
You had to belong to a team, and you could never do it independently. But then Microsoft rolled around with something called XNA, and that made it real easy for developers to get into, and that's when I really got started.
So what was the transition from taking the original that was written in XNA into, what's the new one developed in, Unity?
Unity, yeah.
Okay. Was that transition difficult?
Quite difficult. As a matter of fact, our decision to make One Finger Death Punch 2 the sequel was because we didn't want to learn an entire new engine and make an entire new game at the same time, so we picked one.
Gotcha. Okay, and what platforms is the game coming out on?
Steam first, and then we are targeting Xbox, Switch, and PS4 later on in the year.
Okay, I did want to ask you about one thing. I know there's a mobile version of the original. Is that still available on iOS or Android?
It should be. That mobile version was not developed by us. That should be.
Okay.
It was a licensed version of the game. So.
Okay. Would you recommend people still play it today?
Yeah, I get good feedback on it.
Okay,
so.
cool. What's the last thing I want to ask you? What's one more thing about Silver Dollar that people just don't know?
A lot of people don't know that we're only a team of 2 people. So it takes us a long time to do stuff.
It's well worth the wait. Thank you for your time, David.
Thank you very much.